you can start, maybe do an intro again, and we can just go ahead from there.
All right, so I can reintroduce myself. So my name is Santa Mary. I am a Ugandan having my graduate school in Ghana. I had my undergrad in mechanical engineering from Uganda, and then I worked for about 6 months. Then I joined school here in 2022 January. Yes, and for the last 3 years I've been here, finishing this December. Yeah.
Awesome, awesome. So my name is Mohammad Shabazz Musa. I was supposed to recently principal engineer at Microsoft. I actually yesterday was my last day at Microsoft, and today is my first day at my own startup sort of thing. And it's very interesting that the first thing that I'm doing today is mentoring somebody. So it's very interesting. But like looking back, I was born and raised in Dubai, United Arab Emirates, and did my schooling there, and then moved back to India for school, and then moved into college at Manipal MIT. And At MIT, I did computer science, and from there, I I was also the gold medalist there, so I was kind of good at academics, and then moved into Microsoft as a campus recruit. Was in Microsoft for almost 2 years, a little less than 2 years.
Okay.
Moved to Dubai and then hit Control Z, came back into Microsoft. So this is my second time at Microsoft, right? And been here since for 9 years and another 10 months or so. Okay. So in total, I've been at Microsoft for roughly 11 years, right? And I've had two stints there. And I don't know if there is a three, but three is the charm, as they say. And but it's a very interesting company, and right from yeah, so that's pretty much my educational experience and my work experience full time. But on the side, I also run some ventures. I run a company. It's not very operational, but I kind of do some stuff. Even when I was in college, I used to build companies and websites, and I used to the fun. I mean, believe me or not, I used to make more money inside of college than I make at Microsoft as of yesterday, right? So I do a lot of stuff, right? And so I've built stuff, right? So you don't need to be. I mean, but I then the question is why was I at Microsoft, right? So I think the learning that you can get at a big corporate is far outweighs the money that they pay you, right? The money is for the expenses to take care of yourself, yes. But then I think the amount of experience building trillion-dollar products is something that's worth working even for free or for even taking a pay cut for, right? Which is kind of what I did. So that's me. That's kind of the introduction that I have. But yeah, I guess you set the agenda for the introduction. I guess the introduction is over. Now what?
Yeah, that's a very interesting like kind of background. I've seen many people leave an organization, then take a few moments out and then come back and then continue to do a lot of great things. That's really great. And like you said, with big corporate organization, it's more of the learnings than the money. Most times you get a lot of like great insights, great perspectives then compared to the learning. Yeah, that's so great. Nice
Yes.
background.
Yes, and access to confidential, sensitive information that nobody outside gets, right? Like, like, what is the better way to get trade secrets from a trillion-dollar company than joining the company itself, right? So that's basically me. I read documents that I have access to and I have reason to, have access to. It's not like I'm sneaking around, but imagine you have like hundreds of really well-paid many people who are well skilled as well at their trade, discussing things, putting things out there, writing documents, and writing code and writing architecture, and you have the permission to sit in the same room, right, and learn from them, right? So I'm like a sponge. I try to talk less. I still talk a lot, but 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 the more I keep quiet, the more I learn, the more I absorb. And that is the purpose of for me to be like working with the company, right? Like you're either learning or you're earning or you're returning, right? Or you're doing all of them together, right? So if none of this is happening, then you're stagnating. So learn, earn, return. So I guess this is the way for me to return, right? So that you don't need to make the same. So how I would look at mentorship is I've had enough good and bad experiences, right? And I'd like to relate some of the successes, but more of the failures, right? Or not failures, it's more of the falls, right? Failure seems like a very bad word. Like it's like cancer. Like it's like, oh, you failed, you're dead, right? Uh, it's more of a fall, right? You fall down so that you can get up again. So I think if you want to learn, you have to really learn from how people fell, and more importantly, how people got up from how they fell, where they fell.
Yeah,
So that's where learning comes, outside of comfort zone, you know, that kind of a thing.
I agree with you.
Yes. So yes, what else? I talk a lot. I try to control myself, but
I think I am very fine with that. Just feel free to share and share whatever it is. So don't worry about talking a lot.
yeah, it's a very interesting place. Like usually I'm listening and I mean I'm the guy who's listening and the other person is talking, so I get this. And so this kind of switches the tables, right? For me, where oh wow, like somebody wants to listen to me. Like,
I'm very fine with that. Yes.
okay. So tell me what questions do you have about, I don't know, right now I've shared experience, I've shared my background, I've shared this. You might have questions.
How? If I may ask, you stepped out and stepped back in. Why did you get back into Microsoft and then you spent even like a longer time period than previously?
Good question. Very good question. So one, why did I step out is a good question, right? So even before stepping out, why did I get into Microsoft is also a very good question, right? Why didn't I just do my thing,
Do
right?
your
Like
venture
yeah,
exactly.
like yeah, my venture, like I let's just say that I was making monthly more than what Microsoft was paying me yearly, right? Like when I saw the yearly annual pay, I was like, ouch, right? I mean, I actually made this month, and you're telling me you're going to pay me like this annually. So it was like at least 10x pay cut, even more, right? Pay cut, right? And I'm like, but then the thing was when I work on my own on my ventures, I do scrap work, like scrappy, I don't know, like I'm software engineering, right? So the thing that I do is like very basic. I'm using, like in those days, I was used to be using jQuery and all of that stuff, and they work. They get you by, right? It's okay. But when you get into something like Microsoft, where you have really smart people working on billion-dollar products, right? Tens of billions of dollars, right? Or like valued at trillions of dollars. The game is different. The scale is different, right? The people who you work is different, right? Instead of working with, I don't know, marketers and those kind of personas, which are also very useful people, right? Very skillful people. I wanted to be the best engineer, right? And if I had to be the best engineer, I could not do it on my own, right? Yes, I can watch YouTube videos and all of that stuff, but most people don't share the internal experience, right? There's only so much, like from Microsoft, I have so much information that I cannot share, right? Because it's confidential, right? And I'm bound by that confidentiality, and I respect that. It makes sense. It's a trade secret. But then if you are inside the company, somehow now you are fair game. I can ask any question I want to anybody I want, and they choose to answer or not. So that's why I went into Microsoft. So I went into Microsoft to learn, right? Not to earn. It gives you money also. Yes, I mean, like at least in the US, they're paying you like 300K a year, right? I don't know why. I don't know if I create that much value, but like that's a lot of money, right? 300,000 US dollars a year is a lot of money. Like give or take, like less or more, whatever, depending on where you are. But but then I think more importantly, the learning is worth millions of dollars, right? Actually, billions of dollars, right? That's number one. So I went into Microsoft for learning. What happened is I learned a lot in the first year. I think it's a little bit of scrappy this and that, but then second year I guess I got moved into like a sustenance team. There are these big products which work and they've made money, and then after V1 or V1.5, this is going to teams that just need to keep the lights on. There's nothing more to add to this product, right? It already works. So please keep this maintained and make some small changes. So that's what happens in sometimes in remote data centers like India. So I was in India at that point of time. So I clearly saw that there's no learning here, right? At this point, I'm only earning, right? And if it's about earning, I have better ways to make money, right? So I thought, and I couldn't find another team that made sense. And plus my family, right? I felt that I was in India, my family was in Dubai. I just wanted to move because I wanted to be close to my parents, right? So I thought, okay, we'll figure this out. I don't know. First, let me quit. Then, number two, go figure out a job because somebody told me that I'll figure out a job. I'm not telling you who that is, but that person said, "Oh, you have Microsoft tag. I will get you a job tomorrow, right?" And then I get to Dubai, and then it was like it's a sales destination. What's an engineer doing here? Like, imagine like I come to Ghana and I don't know, like Ghana is a hot place, right? And I come and sell you jackets. What do you think is going to happen?
No sales.
Good, good, right? It's not because the jackets are not valuable. It's not because I'm not a good jacket seller, right? It's none of these and what are other reasons. It's because I'm at the wrong place, period, right? I'm not a good fit for this place right now. So I figured that out the hard way, right? I was jobless for almost 3 months, right? I went there on a 3-month visa and then obviously kind of went into some form of, whatever you call it, depression, right? Like I'm a failure, like I'm a gold medalist, right? I have a 9.74 GPA, right? I worked at Microsoft, which is one of the biggest companies in the world, and I'm here in Dubai and I have no job, right? Nobody is willing to hire me. I remember like it was like I remember very clearly there was a time where I I had my CV printed like old school style, right? And I went into some random building in the middle of downtown Dubai, right? And I'm visiting them like cold calling with I have my resume and like here I am, like gold medalist at one of the biggest, best colleges in India, right? And work experience at Microsoft, and I'm telling you, I need a job, and I'm at the counter and just talking to some receptionist. The kind of morale killer that is, right? Or like imagine like you are somebody, but then just God just shows you that you are nobody, right? If you're at the wrong place, you are nobody, nobody cares, right? And I used to go, I don't know, based on advice that I got, that going door to door to some random company in some random building, sneaking in as a visitor and then just going door to door is probably a good idea. It's not a good idea, right? But it's definitely a good idea to build humility, right? I used to remember, I think I used to see the security guard or something like that, and I would like kind of act normal or something like that and then move to the next thing, right? So it's very, very bad experience, right? It kind of killed me, right? That day I was like, man, what did I do? Like, should I just kill myself, right? Like, what did I do? I was at Microsoft and I quit my job myself, and this is where I kind of empathize, right, with people who are looking for jobs, right? Like it comes from personal experience, right? Like there are really great people out there who have the skills, who have the mindset, but they just don't know where their worth is, right? So I'll give you a quick example. Like if you have a bottle of water, right? If you buy it from like some supermarket, it's going to cost you like less than $1. Like you'll get 40 bottles for $3, right? In Costco. The same bottle, when it comes inside of that can thingy, right? In the vending machine, it comes out for $1, right? So the same bottle that cost maybe like 10 cents now is worth $1, 10x. right? That same bottle, when you sell it inside of an aircraft, you sell it for $10. Same bottle, same water. There's nothing different. You don't need even change it. But then depending on where you sell it, the scarcity kicks in and the value goes up. So what I'm trying to say is, if you want success in life, don't limit yourself to where you are or where your family is or where you want to be. You need to optimize what skills you have and where it matters and make that connection, right? Be at that place at the right time, at the right, right place as the right person. That is where, the alignment comes. So I don't know. That was a very long answer to the question, why did I leave Microsoft? And I'm not even told you why I joined Microsoft back. So at that point, why did I join Microsoft back? I thought that I made a mistake, right? Thankfully, I got beautiful advice from this friend called Amir Rashid. He's a very good guy. Okay. I talked to him and I actually got a job offer. Okay. It was actually more money than Microsoft was paying, right? Inside of a school institution. Okay. In absolute numbers, like just like dollar figure in India and this, I was getting paid more money inside of a school, being something like an IT admin school or institution, IT admin kind of guy in Dubai compared to Microsoft, whatever software development center in India. Okay. If you look at pure numbers, this is more, this is less, right? And it's ridiculous. But then when I talked to this friend, he said, like, what do you want in life? Like, what do you want? Is it about the money? Is it your parents? Like your parents will get old, right? They will, they will move on, right? But you will box yourself into this whatever IT admin role. Like it's not something that you are made for, right? You are one of the best software engineers in India to have made into a country to Microsoft. So he basically gave me advice saying, I think it's best for you to go back to Microsoft because that's where you can bring impact, right? At that point, I was so demoralized. I did not have the the energy to give an interview. Like I was considering, should I go into MBA, right? Being a person who's coded almost 3 to 5 hours every day for the past 7 years or so, like including college or 5 years or so, I was at a point where I was like, is coding even for me, right? Should I just do an MBA and move on, right? Just something like that. Very bad time, very bad time. Suicidal thoughts, etc., all that stuff, right? And but that good advice took me back. I made a phone call on Skype. I still remember it. It was on Skype. That's why I have an emotional connection with Skype, right? I made a call with this guy called Anup. I told him, hey, I'm interested to come back to Microsoft. Do you have a role? He said yes, right? I went to India, met him for 30 minutes. He said, you're hired, right? No interview, nothing. Because I was very good at Microsoft. Like in when I joined Microsoft, in 6 months I got promoted. 6 months they decided to promote me, right? Things happened 2 months or something. Like say I joined in June, like in Feb I was told I'm getting promoted. And I thought, oh, it's big deal. I guess everybody gets promoted like this. And then I realized not everybody gets promoted like that. Like it's pretty fast to join a company and then in 6 months get promoted to SD, whatever next level. And it's not like I did a lot of work. I just was at the right place at the right time with the right people. That's all, right? And then I ended up in the wrong place at the wrong time with the wrong set of people. People were good, but maybe two things were wrong, right? So, so I, so basically I did a Control Z saying that I made a mistake. I fell down. That doesn't mean whatever I did was, wherever I was not wrong. It's just not the right time for me. Right. So I went back into Microsoft with the intention that I will leave Microsoft within 1 year by first building money, right? Create wealth so that I can sustain myself because at that point I was running out on my savings, right? So I thought that I will just do something. I'll go figure out my next company and I'll do it. But the pressure it brings when you do something solo and you don't have the money, your passion becomes a burden. Right? I had the passion for coding, but I did not need to depend on it, right? if you depend on your passion, like follow your passion, great, right? You like tennis, go follow it, right? Not for a living, right? That's the worst kind of advice anybody can give you. Like, Santa, follow your passion. Figure out what you like and do it for a living. The worst advice that you can get, right? Don't follow your passion is what I say, right? Figure out something that somebody will pay you money for, right? Follow your skills, right? Not just skills, follow your skills that somebody will pay you for a decent sum of money so that you can play with your passion. Does that make sense? Like, get a monetize, like basically follow your monetizable skill to money so that you can create time for passion, right? And at that point, you can keep working on your passion on the side without depending on it, at which point you will do it not for the money, right? Because the moment you start looking for money, what will happen is you will start taking short-term steps. So does that answer? The short answer for your question is I came back to Microsoft because one, I made a mistake, which was foolish. I was immature. Number two, I did not have the money to sustain myself and the resiliency, mental resiliency to keep going. And number three, I got really good advice from a subject matter expert. Long answer. I know it's too much to digest. I talk a lot.
I think that was really great because it goes into touching a lot of things. You the passion bit of it and all those kind of things. How you went down and how you came back up and all those kind of things. Yeah, I think it's really a great learning point for me on this side. Also to see how to actually look into things as like I get out of school. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, find some place that values your skills, make money for it, right? Earn or learn, whichever you choose, right? Some people can earn first and then learn, right? Some people can learn because some people choose can learn because they already have earning. What I mean by that is, I think the order should be earn, learn, return, right? Like you focus on learning, earning, maybe no, actually learn, earn, return. Like you go somewhere where you probably don't have, like you do an internship, right? You do an internship, and in the internship, you are learning. You're not making enough money, right? You're probably doing more work than you're being paid for, right? At that point, you're learning. But with that learning, now you can sell that internship and say that I have work experience. Now give me the money, right? And now when you start earning enough, at some point you'll be like, I have enough for the next 5 years or 10 years, right? Now what do I do? Like, I don't have a goal. I don't have any purpose at this point. It's not because the purpose is over. I'm saying don't make money your goal, make it a milestone, right? And the milestone at this point would be like, okay, earn, right? And once you've earned enough, the next milestone should be how can I help others earn and learn, right? In a way that I return, like pay it forward. Yeah, that's I'm trying to shorten. I'll try to shorten my answers next time.
Okay, this is really great. I hear you. Then I would wonder now, why have you finally quit to now run your passion?
Um, so two things, maybe three. Okay. So one, so why am I in Microsoft again? Right. The second time I'm in Microsoft again because maybe at some point I needed earn, right? I needed money, right? Which is why second stint at Microsoft was I'm earning now again. Then at some point I'm like, okay. And on the side, obviously, I started a lot of things, and then I started making 10x of my salary. Actually, there's a month where I made 100x of my monthly salary working at Microsoft. Okay, 100x. I'm telling you, I am not kidding. I made 100x of my monthly paycheck in 1 month. Okay, and I'm still working at Microsoft. At that point, people are like, why are you working at Microsoft? Right? I'm like, man, I'm here to socialize. I like to meet people. So that's exactly why. Right? And socializing is one part. Like one thing I learned when I was in Dubai was like, you cannot work in a silo. You can go crazy. Right? So even if you make money, if you work in a silo, it will drive you crazy. Right? Especially people like me. I'm very extrovert. So number two is I thought there was more learning remaining, right? Like I got the opportunity to work on Outlook. Outlook is like the biggest Android app for Microsoft, like the biggest at that point of time, with I don't know, like 500 million installs or something. Like it's a privilege to be able to write code. Say that I'm a mobile developer who is working on the number one app for Microsoft, right? So I got that opportunity. So I was like, let's learn, let's read the code base, let's understand what's going on. Let's exactly like why did Microsoft pay 300 million US dollars for Accompli, right? Let me see why is it so big? Why is it so amazing, right? And it was amazing. It has some, and I'm working with people who were acquired for $300 million, right? $300 million in those days was like $1 billion kind of thing, right? Nowadays there's so much money. It's like people, yeah, 1 billion here, 1 billion there, big deal. But for a mobile app, so yeah, I keep talking, I forget the question itself, right? So why did I leave Microsoft again? Is I was here for the learning. The why was I here was I'm here for learning now, right? Earning is taken care of. And I'm also returning a little bit. I'm mentoring people. I became an engineering manager. I tried to coach people, my direct reports who are under me. So I was also a manager for a year. So I'm learning people skills, I'm learning management skills. I'm like I've figured out teams organization. I've figured out the technicalities. You give me a problem, I'll fix it for you. It's not a big deal, right? But now people skills is another thing. Like now you're working with other teams, collaboration. I used to like work with 50 people who I used to know them by name and I could call them, right? Like today, that kind of reach, right? Every project that's happening at teams, like maybe 30-50% or 80% of the important projects, I had visibility on them, right? And I would go into them, I would go find the technicality, I would understand the architecture. Like I have so much visibility, right? Of not me, they're not seeing me, but the amount of content that I'm reading is insane. Like I'm reading like this document, service documents, client documents, this, that, and people are like, why are you reading all this stuff? Like it's not your problem. Like you're not even working on them. I'm like, that's what I'm here for, right? I'm not here for, I'm not here for doing work for Microsoft. Yes, I will do that for you as well, but I'm here to learn. At some point, I figured out Teams, right? Teams is the new Outlook, in my opinion, right? Like, why did I leave Outlook? Because there is nothing to do. It's a V1.5 product, and now you're taking from 1.512 to 513, right? There's no learning between, like, in such a small difference, right? In Teams, I got the opportunity to join a team when it had 200,000 users, 250,000 users. And I was in the 7-year journey, 1000x journey, where we grew from 250,000 users all the way to 250 million now. Today it's, I think, 300 million now, monthly active users. 300 million people use the app every month. Like that's like 5% of the planet uses stuff that I do. Like if you are using the Android app, I built the Android data layer. If you open anything inside of Teams, at least on the Android app, I wrote that code. Okay. You're in this product called Teams, right? Teams, this Teams, right? Not specifically the meeting area. I didn't get it. I got a small chance and then I kind of moved out, for whatever reason. But like if you go into Teams and channels, right? If you go into chat, Teams or channels, I actually wrote the GraphQL schema for it. So if anybody uses Teams, I'm the guy who wrote, who's writing the data layer for it, right? Like I'm taking credit for it here, right? And it's not like somebody else could not do it. Like somebody else probably could do it. Anybody could do what I did, right? But what I'm saying is at least I had the opportunity to serve millions, hundreds of millions of people, possibly billions, okay, who will use the app, right? And that's my dent in the universe. And then why did I leave Microsoft? Because now I don't have any more learning. I can't find a good team that makes sense where I feel I can learn, right? And definitely I'm not making money, right? Not enough, in my opinion, right? For the skills I bring, right? Uh, so I'm like, I think it's time to return or earn, like go back to earning. Like I think I've learned enough. Like you shouldn't keep learning forever, right? Like at some point you need to know that there is a point of diminishing returns in some area. Like you did mechanical, right? Or you're doing mechanical, and so there's a point where you'll hit a point of diminishing returns where learning more is now wasting your time, right? Like in the larger picture, yes, you can keep making difference, but it's not bringing a difference to the world. If you're, then you can become an academician, and then you can start teaching students, and then you'll cap it to the number of people in your class is the impact you built in the world, more or less. The way you can take it out is get into a product, like let's say big, huge enterprise, right? Now you start with a small place, and then you build momentum, build momentum, build momentum, build momentum, to the point that I've written an architecture document, right? For, I will not tell you why, right? Because I cannot tell you, such that every message that you send on Teams or Skype or even some other whatever, right? Every single message you send will go through my code. You send even if you start typing, my work is doing something in the background. That's insane amount of impact, in my opinion. That's what makes me happy. Like, wow, like I could not have done that as a solopreneur, founder, whatever, small app that has million downloads. Like nobody would even notice. It's like a small dent in the building. Like nobody will notice. But here nobody notices my name. Because like if you're doing it for fame, yes, nobody knows who's behind the scenes writing that code. But for me, it doesn't matter. Like I'm not doing it for fame. Like fame is a necessary evil. I'll do it if it needs my name, but it's okay. Yeah. So long story short, I I felt my presence in Microsoft was neither maybe useful for Microsoft, maybe not, right? I don't know. But at least for me, it wasn't worth the time. And time is your biggest asset.
Oh my god, oh my god. I don't have words.
Okay. I talk too much. I know. I maybe I have
That's
some grandiose vision.
maybe what?
I don't know.
That was
Maybe I'm
good.
just
That
writing
was
code.
that,
That was sorry.
I mean, that was so interesting, like your career journey, the way you've moved, and all those kind of thing, and then being able to know that okay, at this point in time, I think I have to move this direction or the other direction, and so forth. Yeah, I think that is really great.
Yeah, yeah. And then for that, I would say it's not something that you realize on yourself. You have to talk to people. You need soundboard. You need to talk to people to realize what others are doing. Otherwise, you'll always. The problem that I see with a lot of people is they get into a bubble, and it's a beautiful bubble until it breaks. Right? Like people continue doing whatever they think is right, and they've decided for the next 25 years this is what they're going to do, or they don't know what's going to happen. They're like posting, right? Like how I could have done it in college would be, oh, like going to school, going to college, do your college stuff, right? And then wait for the job placement time to come, get into a job, work as long as you can, and maybe if you get a better opportunity for money, maybe move to another. That's a script, right? Career script, usually. I feel it's not like that's the average mediocre script, right? Don't be average, right? I think that's a message I give to some people when I talk to them. Like, don't be mediocre, right? Don't be mediocre, don't stagnate. And there could be reasons to be mediocre. Okay, sorry. Uh, Getting a call on Skype. Oops. Just some other people who I mentor. I have some devs who I give them work for free. They work for free. I get work done for free. It's interesting. Like it's, I mean, I do it for the work. Like I can do it myself, but I'm like, okay, I give this. So that's what I like. I try to create opportunity for others, right? I can do a lot of things on my own, right? If I wanted to. There's an African saying, right? If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together, right?
Yes.
So you choose, right? So if I wanted to go fast, 100%, I should have done my entrepreneurial thing, right? If I wanted to go far, I have to get more people involved, right? You either join somebody if you don't have the skills, or if you have the skills, you build that team. And that's what my plan is. So I'm planning to hire a few people, not for the sake of hiring, but trying to understand what hard problems can I solve to a certain point, at which point it's not hard enough for me, but probably interesting enough for somebody who can solve it, right? So I give it to him, not because I can't do it, I just don't have time for it, right? Like, it's like, yes, washing dishes is a good problem to solve, right? It is a problem, but is it worth my time? No, right? That's why you get a dishwasher, right? Uh, or you have, I don't know, you have a maid, or you get it done by somebody, maybe your kids, somehow you figure it out, right? Uh, and maybe you do it yourself also, just for the fun of it. But like, that's basically, yeah. Next question. I digress.
Next question from me, or on what is on this, what was supposed to be discussed today?
Yeah, I guess let's go to that also. I'm trying to figure out, it's hard to find student, yeah, mentor resources. Okay, let me open. So it says introduction. Okay, so in session one, you'll meet the student, get to know each other. I think we've done review the GMI program goals. Okay, let's review the goals. Okay, so in session one, uh, mentor guide session one. Okay, I'm kind of opening this up. Okay, so
All
we are
right,
doing this
sure.
live. Okay, so in session one, get to know each other, goals for the session, right? Get to know, briefly review your students' answers to the GMI student application. Yes, so I remember reading uh, your application. Let me see it. Let me just pull it up as well. Uh, okay, so you wrote stuff that said, see, yeah, student profile, right? So, um, so you have, like, why do you want to be mentored? I guess you want a formal mentorship to land your first professional job, want to know work ethics and how to navigate work environments, right? Hey, are you there?
Yes, that's true.
Yes. So maybe I can just share my screen as well, or it's okay. I mean, we can just read. So that's one part I don't want to share. So, how do you work with others? You like others as well, but sometimes alone time is good. I understand. How do you process loud or internal, neutral career plan, confident, neutral, confident at global differences, all that, little confident, how many connections, neutral. Okay. So, okay, some of your hobbies: reading, take part in community activities, and listening to music. Good. Yeah, you should have interests, right? Uh, why I say that? Okay, like, let's go reverse, right? Like, many people, including myself, right? In the resume, they write stuff like, I got this many marks, I am so amazing, okay, I have this work experience, and hire me, right? Like, they kind of put their skills out and they put their work history or their achievements, and that is great, right? I've done like 300 interviews at Microsoft, roughly, right? So I've seen 300 resumes or more than that, right? So, so you just need to understand that when I read a resume, I have maybe 15 seconds or less to figure out something. Okay. I can't spend more than that time because I'm probably talking to this person and I'm also like, you just saw, you wrote an entire application, right? I read it out to you. That's all that I will read. Like, I have low attention span. Most people do, right? In less than 1 minute, I read your entire application, right? You probably put a lot of time to write it, right? And that's important. But what I'm saying is the person reading it may not be as engaged. But what I will notice is some of the verbs, some of the nouns, some of the interesting questions, right? And trying to figure out who you are. Okay. So why am I coming to this is where you write, share some of your hobbies, hobbies and interests, I didn't share my hobbies and interests before because I did not have any hobbies or interests. Right? My hobbies or interests were video gaming, watching movies, and whatever. Right? I didn't play sports that much. Okay. Why? Because I thought studying is more important, or like studying is my forte. Like I have 90% plus in board exams. Like, why not focus on my strengths rather than go and play with somebody a game that I don't know? Right? And make a fool of yourself, right? Like imagine, like, I don't know, you may have played some games, right? Like basketball, football, whatever. What do you play?
I don't play any of those.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Exactly my problem. Like when people used to go play soccer when I was in ninth grade, I used to go play chess or do nothing or read books. I don't know why. Okay. That is my persona. And that's the persona that a lot of intellectually capable, studious kids do. Okay. And I'm not saying it's wrong. It's a good thing. Yes. But there's a point of diminishing returns where your studying is not helping. Now you're hiding sometimes. I'm telling about myself. I'm not telling you about you. I'm telling about me. I realized that because I did not play soccer and put myself in an uncomfortable zone, right? Outside of my comfort. So studying is my comfort zone. I'm good at it, right? Which means I'm happy and I can see all the success. But in a controlled environment like school or college, that works, right? Because they are looking for studies. But what will happen is in the real world, you will be asked to play soccer or whatever, right? What that means is you'll not be asked to play soccer, but you'll be asked to do other things where you work with people. You don't want to do it, but it's important, right? And when you study alone, you are not learning any of those skills. Okay. And the biggest work ethic or the skill that you need to know when working inside of a company is it is a company of people. If you don't know how to work with people, you will fall miserably. I'm not saying you'll fail, but you will fall miserably, or you won't have the courage to go to shoot in the box, right? You'll always be held back because you're a single player. But in a team, you have to be like 1 + 1 = 3. That's something that you need to remember. 1 + 1 = 3 in when it comes to teamwork. So one is always one. Maybe you can do 1.5, 1.2 something. And then when that 1 + 1 + 1 becomes, it could even be 9. Because you're bringing everybody's perspective. You're helping each other. You get stuck. You continue to get stuck for 1 hour, 2 hours, 5 hours, solving a half problem. Somebody else comes in and you tell him the problem. Suddenly you yourself are solving it because you were able to get a soundboard. So why am I saying that? I'm saying that when you play soccer, when you play team sports, you become a team player, right? And if you want to grow in a career, you need to build team skills. I know soccer doesn't make any sense. It doesn't impact you on your scores, right? And sadly, education systems only focus on scores, right? Which is why I've seen many people who are really smart kids in school, right? Who have good GPAs. I look at them 10 years later, they've not grown. They've not grown because they probably don't know how to communicate. They probably don't know how to work with people. I was like that. I'm telling you myself, right? But then I had to build that muscle. If I had that muscle inside of school or college, it would have been so much easier because in school or college, you're not being judged either, right? If you fail a soccer match, big deal. Somebody's going to like boo you. Oh, Santa, you don't even know how to play soccer. You're lame, right? That's all, right? And next day you can go do that. In work, when you don't do that, you don't get a promotion. You don't get money, right? You're not growing. It's going to make you, it's going to put you in a box. And at that point, you don't have enough skills or time or opportunity to build those skills. You can build it, yes, but it's not on the job, right? On the job, people will realize, oh, this person is such an isolated introvert. I don't want to work with this person. So people stay away from you. Instead, if you are that outgoing person, you have team building skills where, you assist people, you you don't do your work, you help others, right? Then others will find a way to reciprocate, right? You you take a hit for the team sometimes, right? You take a fall for the team, right? You put yourself, you take the blame for somebody else, right? That's what happens in a game, right? Like the team is one, like the collective is bigger than the individual, right? And that will help you grow and make a bigger team and become a leader, right? Who gets paid the most in Microsoft? Leadership, right? Satya, how much code does he write? Zero. He's not coded for years. He's part of a software engineering company. He's not coded for years. The thing is, because he is in the leadership position. When you become a leader, or if you aspire to become a leader, and maybe you don't want to become a leader, right? Maybe you just want to be an engineer, do IC work for the rest of your life, and you don't want to do that. That's a choice you make, right? But at some point, if you want to make money, you will hit a ceiling, right? As an IC, you will have to go into leadership if you want to make like 10x, 5x. Easiest way is management. Yes, you can do it IC. It's very hard. I'm not saying it's impossible, but there are fewer ways how such a person can make such a huge impact that somebody can pay you that much money. The easier way is if you can manage a bunch of people, that will give you. So what I'm trying to say is build hobbies that have nothing to do, absolutely nothing to do with your scores. Build hobbies that have absolutely nothing to do with your scores, because your worth cannot be limited to a number. Okay. It might be in the eyes of people inside the educational institution, but when you go out in the bigger world, they have so many more metrics that they judge you by, and it'll come to bite you back, right? So have fun, have fun in the process as well, but learn that what you're doing there is your playground. The college and school is a playground. They're, you are paying them to get a playground for study and all of that. So, okay. So that, and then last thing is, I guess it's to land your first professional job. One, if you ask me, like I'm a hiring manager, right? I like right now, at least in my company, I'm trying to hire somebody, right, as a software engineer. Now you are somebody who is let's say an intern candidate, right? Or a fresher out of college, right? If you ask me, what am I looking for in a fresher? Let's say I decide to hire a fresher, right? That's what I want. Gives me somebody who, so one thing is money, right? Money is usually a good way to start. When I hire a fresher, I can offer a lower pay, right? The problem is this fresher has no skills, mostly. They have learned something in college. Let's just agree that whatever you learn, a lot of the things that you learn in college are not that useful in the work environment, right? Experience, even 1 year experience of you is probably, there's a good chance it can be more relevant, at least in my work, the 4 years that you've learned in college, right? That 1 year of experience. So I'm doing a bet where I am trying to see, is Santa good enough to be trained for that? Because I know you don't have skills. Okay. Or I'll assume you don't have skills. Now, how you can beat me to that is saying that, hey, Mohammed, I have these skills, which I tell you I have, and I'll be like, whatever. I don't think you have those skills, right? I'm not going to take your word for it because I don't trust you. You're some random candidate who's put something on a piece of paper, right? But when you say, I have worked in this, I don't know, non-profit organization as the web developer, right? Now you're talking. Okay. I have done this, and this is the artifact to show proof that I have done real work, right? Your work should speak for itself, right? You don't need to tell me you're a web designer, you have web development skills. When you show me that you are a web designer for 3 months in a website, right? You built this website. Now I know I have proof that you have done that. That's one. Number two, I want to see, and I would always say, hire for mindset, train for skills, right? If I see that Santa is somebody who's willing to learn web development, learn this, learn that, you're a learn it all, right? So tomorrow, if I have a challenge that nobody knows is is ready to take in, you will not tell me I don't know. You will tell me I don't know yet. I will go learn it. That's the kind of person who I would hire, right? Not the person who says that I know this, I know this, I know this, and I can give you all of that to you, right? And I'm like, what if you don't know something? Then I don't know. Maybe we'll find somebody else. I'm like, wow, like, is this the kind of person I'm going to hire, right? Who will only do things that they know. So at which point you're saying I have a stagnating resource which knows everything that has come to them, and if I put a new question, they don't know anything because they can't learn. They don't have a growth mindset. So the word for it is, if you want to land your first technical job, you need a growth mindset. You need proof to show your skills, and you need connections. Yeah, and I'm taking notes. Don't worry about this. Like, the best way to forget something is to write it down. So, so meeting notes. I'll send you the meeting notes. It has a transcript. So whatever I'm saying is already being recorded. So you can focus on the content.
Okay.
So I'm just kind of, it's a saying. I'm telling you. I mean, that's why I am not taking notes, because I have software doing it, right? So then I can focus on you. I can focus on what you are reading. So anyways, I think this is the last minute. And I believe one of the things that we need to do as I go through the documents, discuss the goals of the mentorship program, review the 12 sessions. So let's review the 12 sessions, okay? Session 1 is discussion, icebreakers, where did you grow up, all of that stuff. I think we've done that. Have you been a mentor before? I've been a mentor before, yes. Actions and next steps, student homework. Make sure they created LinkedIn profile. Did you create your LinkedIn profile?
Yes, I did.
Yes, you have 500 plus connections. That's good. LinkedIn is where you make connections. So number 3, if you post what you know, right? Maybe snippets of this video, right? I can give you the recording and you can post some parts of it, right? I will also post some parts of it, right? That creates visibility for you, right? It makes you vulnerable, but at least people know what you're doing, right? Nobody knows about you until you talk about it. So that's where you create visibility. So tomorrow, if there is another manager or whatever, and I am trying to figure out who is Santa, your LinkedIn profile is proof of who Santa is across 5 months or 10 months before I hire you, right? You can tell whatever you want in an interview, but I can judge you by your history online. And obviously not your Instagram and Facebook profile, but your LinkedIn profile, right? It's proof of what you do, what you think about, what matters to you, right? So like LinkedIn is a reference. It's like a person telling me this is who Santa is, right? So build that. Look over content for second session. I'm advising you. Ask them to have their resume ready for the next session. Yes, please do that. Remind your student to mark session 1 as complete on student portal. Or my action, send the mentor follow-up email. I'll figure this out. Review the materials for session 2. This will how to create a professional resume, right? So I guess expectations from the student is whatever, blah, blah, blah. At least 5 job interviews lined up by your graduation day. Professional business profile, 500 new like connections, right? Is very important. Like, how did GMI find me? They found me on LinkedIn. That's why we are talking. Probably they found you on LinkedIn. I don't know, but let's say one of these things, right? So now you have to. So I guess without going too much. So I guess there's resume, AI in career, business network, career plan, smart goals, LinkedIn techniques, job interview prep 1, 2, 3. I think at the end of the day, I think they are saying, how can Santa land a job? Okay. I think that's the goal, right? In 12 weeks, Santa should land a job. Either I hire her or somebody else hires her. And I can give a reference that I know Santa, I've been talking to her. That makes sense, right? Because I know her for like 12 hours. If you're good, I will recommend, right? That but so tomorrow, next session, you have to create a resume. And my tips for that is, remember that somebody who's reading your resume is going to read in 15 seconds or less, right? If you're going to put 20 paragraphs in it, you failed. Right? Right? When you write your resume, remember, less is more and more is less. Nothing more, nothing less, right? And you need to write your resume not to tell your story, but to address the need of a hiring person to get a quick picture of Santa in 15 seconds. Maybe somebody has 1 minute. I don't know. I don't. Okay. In 15 seconds, I need to see numbers. I need to see structured experience. I need to see keywords. This is all I'm looking, right? So if you have a percentage, put numbers. Numbers stand out, right? If you have something you want to really highlight, bold things, right? And have it structured in a way that I can see experience is here, education is here, skills are here. So I can look what I'm looking for. I can find what I'm looking for. If I'm looking at skills, so today maybe I'm looking for a job where I need, I don't know, PHP skills. So I know where to look at, right? Your education doesn't matter to me. If I feel that I'm looking for somebody who is hardworking and has academic qualifications, which you probably have, right? Then I would uh, I would look at the education section. If I'm looking for how much experience you have, I need to know what company, how long you were there, and maybe a small line or two about what you did. If I want to know more, I will ask you. Don't put a paragraph there. I've done this myself. Okay. You look at my LinkedIn profile, you'll see that as I keep going up, my paragraphs keep going down because I think I've become more wise. Right? Because when I was a junior engineer, I was like, oh, I will tell exactly everything what I did. This. I'd put like, if you look at my LinkedIn profile of what I did in the first year at Microsoft, right? I have, I think, 5 paragraphs about it, right? Or 5 bullet points. And last year, what I did in Microsoft is in 1 line. So clearly, as a principal engineer, I'm doing more work than what I did as a software development engineer. One, maybe, right? I think so, right? But it's just that talk less than necessary. So we will see what you do with all this advice. Okay. I will judge you. We're like eating, right? So no pressure. I will still judge you. But anyways, like build something. We'll collaborate on it, but just know what I'm looking for, right? This is what I'm looking for. I don't want to set you up for failure, right? Like, Santa, write a resume. Let's figure it out, right? And you're like, how do I write a resume? I'm like, I don't have time to tell you that. That's me doing a shoddy job, right? What do I expect? But when I say this is what I'm looking for, and you focus on the points and you do that, then I think we save each other's time. And time is the biggest asset, which is why the name of my company is Free Time.
Interesting.
Okay. I guess that will be all. We'll schedule the sessions based on the time. If this time works for you, maybe we can do earlier in the week, right? I actually wrote an email and then something distracted me and forgot to hit send for Tuesday. So what day works for you best?
I think this time is good.
Okay, Friday, like Friday evenings.
Yes.
Okay, okay, fair. Let's do Friday evenings. For me, it's Friday morning, so it's good. I'm okay with this. Okay,
All right.
sounds good.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. Nice meeting you, Santa. You have a good rest of your weekend, and I'll send you the meeting notes and the meeting recording. And like we said, like LinkedIn, feel free to post the whole video, snippets of the video, whatever. It will build your presence, right? It will build you. It will build an identity for you. There'll be other people in Uganda or somewhere in Africa who are following you to learn your career journey, right? Or your mentorship journey. Because now two of us are talking, right? There's no third person who's benefiting from it. But when you share that information out or you just share insights, hey, this is what he said, this is what I learned, right? At that point, you are bigger than, you are expanding the impact and you do it for free. That's when it's all nice, awesome. Like it's so nice when you do things for free. Don't put money in the picture. it corrupts the whole thing. Like, don't do it. Like, it's so much better.
That's very true.
Yeah. If you chase money, you will never catch it. If you chase excellence, money will follow.
Okay, some great insights for today. Thank you so much, Muhammad.
Thank you, Santa. Thank you for your patience listening through all this lecture.
It's all part of my learning process, so that's very fine with me. Thank you.
Also, do you mind if I share this recording? I feel this is a very interesting discussion. Most of it I was talking, so I hope you don't mind.
Yeah, that's very fine. That's very fine with me.
Yes, and you feel free to share it with your friends. I will share you the recording and the notes. I have the notes, so you will find the notes very useful, inshallah. And then you can feel free to share it with anybody. Nothing of this is confidential. It's all about my life. I give you rights to share about my life.
All right, sure. Thank you so much, Muhammad. I'll do so. All right. See
Bye
you
bye.
next Friday.
Thank you.
We'll speak in between the week.
Awesome. Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye.